Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about what the deku was a ghost. So in the last video deku, after finally settling into the forest, living in a cabin, Izuku saw that there were two, people fighting. One of which was a villain and the other was the hero known as Eraserhead. So after saving them from, well, about to be eaten by wolves, I guess, because they were knocked out, Izuku decides to, bring them into their cabin and let them rest for now because they were, pretty badly hurt. Specifically Aizawa. So, yeah. So, after a few months or weeks, I can't remember. So, let's just say months of, being in the forest with Izuku and Eri, they decide to, go back to, to civilization. So after telling his whole story to the rest of the UA staff, they decide to try and find the Izuku and Eri and bring them to UA to be trained as heroes. So yeah, so that's what happened last time. So yeah, so let's talk about what happens next. So before we can start the story, by the way, guys, I want all of you to pick a ship for Izuku. Like, for example, Izuku is either going to be shipped by, let's just say, like female Bakugo or something. So just put in the comments and pick a ship for Izuku. Or you can just, comment in, or comment down there in my, community tab where I put in a post. So, just comment which is going to be the ship for, for this what if, okay? Good. So, Izuku's in the forest, basically hunting down some more deer and some wild warthog which they can eat. So, Izuku possessed a wolf and basically started hunting down anything that they can eat. So, after a while, Izuku found some wild warthogs and basically just start dragging them to to the cabin, and also some deer. So after that, Izuku gets out of the wolf's body and basically before he basically comes out of the body of the wolf, Izuku just bludgeons the wolf itself, so it won't attack and kill Eri. So yeah. So after Izuku does that, Izuku says this to Eri. Hey Eri, we got food. Or at least I did it because the wolf is dead after all. As Izuku kind of laughs. As Eri says this. Finally, I kind of feels I think that's a lot, Izuku. Izuku says this. Really? As Izuku looks back and Izuku sees that he over hunted. Izuku says this. Don't worry, maybe we can just turn into like for say actually let's just put it in the ice box. So after putting it into like a box of ice, that's basically what it is. And by the way they found like ice, they found like a little area that's pretty cold, so they decide to put some some molds there with water on there so they can make ice. So yeah, that's how they made their own like well fridge, I guess I can call it, or freezer. So they started making dinner as Ziku starts eating the souls of the deer. Izuku says this, it actually tastes quite good. As Eri says this, it's actually quite weird for you to actually just eat the souls of these deer. Izuku says this, yeah, pretty weird. So after a while of eating, they decide to go to sleep because it's already nighttime. So yeah. So after Eri says goodnight, Izuku decides to roam around the entire area because ghosts can't sleep. So while roaming around the forest and the surrounding area, Izuku sees something. Izuku sees something that looks kind of weird. Izuku sees a, a glowing green light. Izuku comes closer to it as Izuku recognizes what is this place. It's a it's some sort of sweatshop. Not only that, this sweatshop, it seems to be, producing these special drugs, which are glowing green. Izuku thought it was, pretty scary, as one of the, captors gets a kid, as the kid says this, "Please, don't hurt me," as the captor said this, "Hurry up and start working immediately! If you don't, as he snaps the whip, as he says this, "You'll get more punishment." As he starts, running over to, his work post, as he starts, working harder and harder. One of the kids is basically malnourished, and Izuku also sees another kid, which the other kid seems to be about to die, or basically, wait for a second, or die. So Izuku, after seeing it, Izuku felt a little bit angry and decided to do this. So Izuku goes through the forest and sees a pack of wolves. Izuku sees the alpha of the whole group of wolves seems to have well one of his eyes is basically scarred. So Izuku possesses the wolf. As Izuku howls, the rest of the wolves basically wake up as Izuku gestures them to basically start going to the sweatshop to basically attack the captors and save the kids. So yeah, so the wolves start terrorizing the place. Some of these captors start running away, but one of them, being the leader and the sole creator of the sweatshop, says this: "What the hell is happening here?" As he sees Izuku while still wearing or at least while still possessing that wolf, Izuku decides to well let's just say he gets out of the wolf, and the wolf is, or at least the alpha wolf, is completely confused as the alpha wolf sees the leader, or the captor's the sub shop owner, basically, as he starts growling and tells the rest of his pack to basically start attacking him. The guy has a pretty strong quirk. Specifically, he has a quirk known as absolute submission, which allows him to basically, it's basically like Conqueror's Hockey, basically. Even though I don't even watch, One Piece. I know a bit of, a bit about, One Piece. I mostly know about, a bit of hockey. And I know that, Conqueror's Hockey basically, makes people that are, have, willpower that are pretty much weaker than the users, afraid of them. So, yeah. Wait for a second. So, the rest of the wolves, well, they basically started, falling back down to the ground. As in falling down back to the ground, I literally mean that they're basically bowing to him. As the guy says this, "You seriously think that you stupid dogs would ever try and beat me? I have the most powerful quirk imaginable, and nobody can stop me." As he looks at the rest of the children that basically stayed, as he says this, "Hurry up and work," or as he brings out a gun, as he the wolf's pack leader and shoots him, as he says this, "Or that will happen to you." As they started scrambling and started going back to work, Izuku says this, "Well then, If you want to play it like that, I meant, if you want to play it like that, well then, guess I'll have some fun. So, Izuku starts transforming into his, well, let's just say his, phantom form. Izuku basically, turns off his invisibility as when the children see him, they started running away. As the leader of the whole operation says this, "What the? Why are you running?" As he looks back, he sees Izuku. As Izuku looks at him with his blindfolded eyes and iron mask and torn up, robes and his skeletal hands, Izuku grabs him by the face, or at least by the neck. Izuku says this: "You hurt little innocent souls just because you have a powerful quirk. Scum like you should be fucking in hell right now." As he says this, "Who the hell are you, kid?" As Izuku says this, "I am vengeance. Call me Nemesis." As Izuku literally uses his claw and slice him across the chest. And thanks to the slash, it makes a big gash into his stomach to the point that it's reached all the way to his vital organs. As a part of his, stomach starts falling off, falling off its, of his normal place. As some of his guts start spewing out and falling to the floor, as he says this, "Please, don't hurt me. Please, have mercy." As Izuku says this, "Scum like you make me sick." As Izuku takes off his mask, showing a horrifying face. This face is, repulsive to the point that if anybody sees his true face under that mask and, blindfold, they basically, die from the shock. So, when Izuku takes off the mask and blindfold and show his face to that, to the leader of the operation, he says this: "No, no, 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 no." He starts screaming for help. He stops screaming. It means that he's dead. So, yeah. So, Izuku transforms back to normal and tells all of the rest of the kids to basically get out of here. The rest of the rest of the kids, or at least the captured kids, start running away, going into, or at least going somewhere that's not there. So, yeah. So, Izuku basically goes back to the cabin. It's, about to be morning soon, so Izuku decides to, just look around again. So, yeah, so, wait for a second. So, when Eri wakes up, Izuku finally made, breakfast. As Izuku says this, "Hey Eri, I made breakfast, so I hope that you had a great, I hope that you had a great dream." As she says this, "Yeah, my sleep, ugh, it felt nice. My dream was, I think my dream was about, like, becoming the number one hero, and you were the number two hero." For Izuku, he starts eating the souls of, of a warthog. As Izuku says this, "No, no, me becoming the number two hero?" As Eri says this, "Yeah, yeah, it's really interesting. My dream was, pretty crazy. I think I remember, like, you were, riding a unicorn or something." Izuku says this, "Riding a unicorn? That, uh, that actually sounds weird." As Eri says this, "Yeah, dreams are weird." Izuku says this, "Agreed." So, yeah. So, after eating, they decide to, scout the surrounding area and decide to, check out well, some places. So, after a while, they found a lake where they decide to, get their, water from now. So, yeah. So, that's the end of that, that time. So, yeah, let's just fast forward a little bit as it's basically, let's just say it's a pretty okay time for them. Izuku has been, training, learning how to become a hero, and also Eri is learning how to do, fighting. And I mean a lot of fighting. So, wait for a second. So, Izuku, after training, they decide to, get some rest. So, during the rest, Izuku starts talking about, um, what they're going to be, their hero costumes. As Eri says this, maybe my hero costume should be, I know, a cape with, a hoodie. Izuku says this, makes you sound like a villain. As she says this, hey, how about you, Izuku? Maybe a white long sleeve jacket with several belts. As she says this, actually that sounds like a straight jacket. Izuku says this. Ugh. Anyway, so while they were talking, they hear the sounds of a car, even some helicopters, or at least what they think is helicopters, at least. As Izuku says this, what in the hell? As Eri says this, maybe I should get out and try and check it out. As Izuku says this, no, just let me do it. Besides, you probably might get hurt. As she says this, okay. So, Izuku tells her to hide in in the cupboards. As in cupboards, I mean like, oh, the the closet. Yeah, the closet. So, after getting out of the house or the cabin, Izuku sees, well, tons and tons of cars, mostly looking like they're from the government. As Izuku sees a small mouse, bear or rat. Izuku doesn't know what the heck is that creature, but the that creature also be. I mean, these creatures also seem to be wearing a suit, and not only that, he's right next to Aizawa. As Izuku says this, wait, Aizawa, what are you doing here? As Aizawa says this, well, wait for a second. Izuku, I wanted to ask, do you want to become a hero? Izuku says this. Wait, what? As Eri hears that, as Eri says this, wait, we're becoming heroes? And she slams the door open as everybody starts looking at Eri. As, Nezu, and yes, that's Nezu, the bear, in the bear half mouse thing in the suit. He says this. Yes, Miss Eri, I believe that's your name. As Eri says this, yeah. So, we're really going to become heroes? As, Nezu says this, yes. But first, I want to have a talk with the two of you, alone. As Izuki says this, sure. So, after bringing Nezu to their humble abode, they decide to sit on the dining room, which is just a table with just two chairs. Nezu is standing on the table for now, as Nezu says this. So, I heard that you were, escapees from, Overhaul's facility, right? As Izuku says this. Yeah, that guy. He experimented on us. As Eri says this. Yeah, they. He wanted my quirk. As he says this, and he says, I mean, like Nezu. Nezu says this. "Oh, your quirks? What do you mean by that?" As Izuku says this. Well, it's because our quirks can create special types of bullets known as quirk destroying bullets. As Nezu says this, quirk destroying bullets, eh? As well, Eri says this. Yes, our my quirk known as rewind allows me to basically rewind time, or at least heal people. Like for example, if I were to like rewind you, I can make you turn back into whatever you used to be, or maybe age you up to make you even smarter, I guess I can call it. As she says this, as Nezu says this, interesting. Aizuka says this, yeah. Overhaul well, used our quirks to make these special bullets that can destroy a person's quirk when shot at. As Nezu says this, I'm a bit concerned. How many bullets did he make? As well, well, Eri says this. I can't remember. It's I. It's been a lot of time since I remembered those days. Izuka says this. I think it was like 2,000 or millions. I can't remember. It's so vivid. As Nezu says this. Huh. Okay, that's enough. So, Mr. Izuku and Miss Eri, I need you to pack all of your stuff, then we can go. As Izuku and Eri said this, yes sir. So, after packing up, they started going to UA Academy. So, wait for a second. So, when they arrived at, UA Academy, which is basically it's still a high school, but in this story, I'm just going to imagine that it's also a college. So, yeah. So, Izuku and Eri are going to be, in a college, setting this time. Or at least one of the what ifs is going to be taking place in a college instead of a high school. And if you're wondering about that, um, in my Prince of Wrath what if I'm gonna be making tomorrow, I'm gonna take it. I'm going to make that what if about well, well. Let's just say it's about demons, specifically a specific fallen angel slash Prince of Hell. I'll give you a hint. It starts with an A and ends with Zazel. So yeah. So when they arrived at the UA at the UK I meant the UA part where it's basically just a college, they made it there as they were told that they're gonna be staying in these dorm rooms. Izuku was brought to a dorm room that's right next to two different students. One was a girl, which Izuku recognizes. He can't remember, but Izuku thinks it's a girl that's, a bit troubled. Or at least Izuku thinks. As when she comes up to Izuku, she says this. My name is Nejiri. It's nice to meet you. Izuku says this. My name is Izuku. Nice to meet you, Nejiri. As she says this. It's nice to finally meet you. I heard so many stories from Aizawa about you. I also heard about, this girl by the name of Eri, which is your sister, right? I actually want to meet her. Izuka says this, I don't know where she, gone to. I think she was brought to, a different facility. Or at least in the other dorm. As she says this, okay, I'll be going off. Maybe we can, well, be, wait for a second. Maybe we can even be, well, classmates. Or at least, well, I wish I can be classmates with you. As she smiles, Izuku kind of blushes a little bit as Izuku says this. Um, oh, okay. So, yeah. So, after Izuku unpacks all of his things, Izuku says this. So, I'm gonna become a hero. Now, how am I going to hide this? Well, my secret. The secret that I'm, well, a ghost. As Izuku hears the door, well, knocking, Izuku opens the door as Izuku sees, well, another girl. This girl, well, she's interesting looking. She has half red and half white hair. As she says this, my name is, well, Shoto Todoroki. It's nice to meet you. Izuku says this. Nice to meet you, Miss Todoroki. My name is Izuku. As she says this. Nice to meet you, I guess. So, yeah. So, after Izuku, well, talk with her a little bit, she left as she goes into her dorm room, which is right next to Izuku's. So, yeah. So, Izuku's, well, basically sitting on the bed. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. So, Izuku's sitting on the bed, thinking about, well, what he's going to be doing as his, well, first, thing at, well, at UA. Izuku thinks maybe I should become a hero, and when I become a hero, maybe I should try and, well, find a way to basically defeat, or at least, well, destroy that horrible group. I want to destroy Overhaul and everything that he had done. As Izuku, after thinking that, Izuku decides to, well, just stay up all night because, well, Izuku can't sleep because he is a ghost after all. So yeah. So I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. But before you leave, I I still need to remind you all to pick a, well, to pick a ship for Izuku. So yeah, so just pick a ship in my comments in this video, or in the, well, in the post that I made in my, well, that I made in my community tab. So yeah, so goodbye.